Good morning students. I hope you are fine and have gone through the previous video. Bacha, we were discussing about different life processes that are necessary for an organism to survive. We discussed about nutrition, we discussed about respiration, and the next life process which is extremely important is the transportation. In my previous video, I discussed about the systems, the two transport systems which are necessary for transport of substances in case of plants. We discussed that the two transport systems in plants are the xylem and the phloem, and we discussed about the structure of xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. But the two transport systems, xylem is there to carry water and minerals from the soil to all parts of the plant. Xylem can transport the materials, can transport water and minerals in the upward direction only, that is from the roots to upper parts of the plant. But the phloem, which can carry food and hormones, can carry these substances in the upwards as well as in the downward direction, because the food is synthesized in the leaves, but the upper part of the plant and the lower parts of the plant, both of them need food. So the transport through the phloem occurs in both the directions, upwards as well as downwards. Then bache, we discussed about the structure of xylem vessels and xylem tracheids. I told you xylem vessels are formed as a continuous drain pipe when the cells are arranged one above the other in such a way that their end walls are broken. When their end walls are broken, they form a continuous column. There are certain pits in the walls. These pits are nothing but the thin areas. The cell walls of these xylem vessels are actually made up of cellulose and are thickened due to the deposition of lignin. But there are certain thin areas where no lignin is present. Moreover, these vessels are the dead components. These are hollow cells. They do not have any cytoplasm, neither they have any nuclei. The other element of the xylem which carries water and minerals is the tracheids. Tracheids are the long, thin, spindle-shaped cells with closed ends. Their ends are closed, but they have pits. The water transports from one cell to one tracheid to the other tracheid through these pits. These cell walls are also made up of cellulose and have depositions of lignin. Here, bacha, you need to remember one thing. In flowering plants, that is in angiosperms, either vessels or both of them together conduct water and minerals, but in case of non-flowering plants, there are only tracheids which are responsible for conduction of water and minerals. Now, in our today's video, we will discuss about the mechanism. I told you that the water from the soil and the minerals which are dissolved in the soil in the form of nitrates, phosphates, through the water, they are transported to upper parts. The passage which is being followed by the water and the dissolved minerals can be seen through this. See bache, this is the ground level and this is the structure of the root which we discussed earlier also. The root epidermis, the upper layer of, firstly understand from this, the upper layer is the root epidermis. Root epidermis has fine hair-like projections which are known as root hairs. These root hairs increase the area for the absorption. These are the soil particles and the water is present in between these soil particles. Water enters from the root hair to the epidermis. From the epidermis, it enters into the root cortex. From the cortex, it reaches up to the endodermis. Endodermis encloses the vascular bundle which is xylem and phloem. There are different arrangements of xylem and phloem within the endodermis, within the vascular bundle. So finally, the water enters into the root xylem. The root xylem forms a continuous column with the xylem of the stem, which continues with the xylem of the leaf. Now look at this diagram. See, water is entering from the soil by the process of osmosis and it reaches to the root xylem. This is the normal osmosis. Up till here there is no pressure requirement, but the upward movement from root xylem to the stem xylem and from the stem xylem to the leaf xylem needs a special mechanism, and this is called as transpiration pull theory, जिसको हम suction pull theory भी कहते हैं. And this upward movement of water and dissolved minerals from the roots to all parts, upper parts to the stem and leaf is called as ascent of sap. Ascent means upward movement and sap means water in which minerals are dissolved. What happens is we have done the TS of leaf in our first lecture, in which you see that there is a continuous loss of water from the tiny pores called stomata. When these stomata get open, the water gets lost from the mesophyll cells of the leaf by the process of transpiration. When water is lost, then here the requirement of the water is fulfilled by the water present in the leaf xylem. When the water from leaf xylem also continues to get evaporated, there is a low pressure region constructed over there. When the pressure at the top of the leaf xylem gets reduced, but the pressure at the bottom of the root xylem is high, this creates a pressure gradient and water moves from a region of high osmotic potential to a region of low osmotic potential. It can be understood just as whenever we drink certain juices from the straw. When we suck at the top of the straw, the pressure of the air near the top gets reduced and the liquid rises up from a region of high pressure to a region of low pressure. So the mechanism involves 3 steps. It is transpiration pull theory. Number 1, lot of water keeps on evaporating from the leaves through stomata. This is transpiration. Due to transpiration, a kind of suction is created because the pressure at the top of xylem vessels gets reduced. This suction or this pressure gradient pulls up the water through xylem vessels, as at the bottom of the vessels the pressure is high. So from a high osmotic potential to a low osmotic potential, water moves on. This is about the movement of water and dissolved minerals through ascent of sap through xylem vessels. Now we will discuss about how food and hormones are transported through phloem. Thank you.